Wow. I mean, I don't have really much to say really, other than God, that was awful. This is a starting point. I mean, that's what I have to say because Adam Sandler, he hasn't made a good film in quite some time. I mean, I liked Funny People. Um, what was it? I liked 50 First Dates. I sort of like Click a bit, but he has made good films. I just like can't really think of them right now because it's really early in the morning right now, and he's made a lot of bad ones recently. So yeah, but here's this movie, which is probably one of the worst films he's ever made. It's awful. I didn't laugh, but I was quite just shocked and a bit didn't really understand what was going on because in a comedy, if you don't understand the jokes and it's not working, then it's not it doesn't work and you're not enjoying it and you think it's awful and you think, oh, please stop. And there's so many times this happened in this movie and I was just like, what the hell is this? You got Adam Sandler with the tone. I know I had so many lives and and all this just awful voice. It's so annoying. And you caught the jokes, and oh boy, they're fantastic. No, they're absolutely terrible. And what I hate about this comedy is, well, this comedy movie, is it's really immature humor. It's stuff that people who are like silly and immature would laugh at, and that's the kind of humor it's centered at, and you targeted at, and blah blah blah. What I mean. And the thing is, if you're going to do a comedy, at least have strength your convictions to do something that isn't immature and stupid and has no meaning. This has no meaning. It's nothing. I mean, throughout the entire movie, there's all these things going on with characters, and I just don't believe it. I don't care. I have no feelings, no emotion, no connection, no nothing. It's just terrible. And there's even a bit where someone comes back from Afghanistan. And he says, "Oh, if you do anything to my sister, I'll kill you. I'll shove that tailpipe right through your ass." And I'm just sitting there thinking, "Oh wow." And then there's a really bad message about people coming back from Afghanistan and depicting old people's reactions to it. It's like, "Oh, will he come in and see us?" And it's like, "Oh my God." And there's a really bad representation of foreigners where there's a bit at the party. It's like, oh, just give them loads of shit they can't handle, you know? Just keep asking them to do stuff. Um, and I don't like the way they showed the kids and stuff, and the whole thing about the sex of the teacher. And oh, there's a scene where they're having sex behind this red curtain, right? And there's presentation going on, and all of a sudden you can hear these sex sounds, and they're having sex, and there's like this desk, and she's completely naked, and he's got his clothes on, but he's just got stuff, his stuff lowered to make but it's disgusting. And what I don't like, there's a scene which again, and I don't understand, it's like they they like signed some contract or something of, oh, you know what, we have to make a really bad joke that actually South Park does like a million times better. We'll all do it shit. Yeah, let's do it shit. And South Park will be loads better, which is, I mean, it's so great that we have something like South Park that actually deals with stuff so much better than they do. I mean, it's really broad, his comedy. Like, there's a scene where there's the court and they're signing stuff. I mean, not signing stuff, sorry. I mean, they're all giving like, oh, hey, man, oh, that's cool. Oh, you just like, you explored that teenager fantasy we all wanted to, and oh, it's so cool. And I just think that's really wrong, just to show it that way, like everyone's okay with it, kind of thing. And in South Park, there's the episode where obviously Ike has the affair with the teacher, and there's the cops who aren't really happy with it. They don't want her because they think she's hot. And and there's the other side where people are really disgusted and think it's horrible. That works. That joke of like, oh, she's hot. Oh, nice. Oh, it's nice. Because there's not everyone sort of being like, oh, it's cool, man. Oh, they did that. And that's what's in this movie. And just that in the movie as a whole, it's like zero laughs, really, really bad humor, and there's nothing to it. Like, Adam Sandler, seriously, look at these films and think they're the work of the devil, please, because they're not good. And the thing is, I find it really quite evil that he would do something like this. I mean, why would you actually fund all these films which are terrible? You know, Grown Ups, Just Go With It, Jack and Jill, and this, and he's just making money off it, and he's just a corporate asshole. I mean, people slam George Lucas, but I'm sorry, no, this is worse, okay? All he does is just makes money off films that aren't any good, and frankly, I'd rather protest that this shouldn't make money and the Michael Cera films should have made more money because I know, that obviously I didn't like You from Revolt, Paper Heart, and Scott Pilgrim, but they're nowhere near as bad as these four films that he's made recently, Adam Sandler. And I actually still feel really bad about slamming those films. I know I did enjoy them and I can't give them a good review, but still, they deserve to make more money than this. It's horrible. You don't have these films like Jack and Jill. It made $149 million at the box office. What's all that about? I mean, I thought generally when something's really bad, it just like people just don't bother seeing it anymore. Like the word gets out and they stop. But with this, it's been the critics hate it, which is great because the critics show they actually can give a good sense of critique and all that for once. And obviously, the audience been saying they actually like it and don't think it's so bad. But I just, it's just the same thing, and that's what I really hate about this movie. It's the same kind of humor. I mean, it was the same kind of humor he was doing about 10 years ago with Mr. Deeds, but Mr. Deeds was funny. Obviously, it was sort of immature humor, but it was funny. This is immature humor, but it's gone too far now. Like, it's gone even a bit more too immature, actually, I think now. And, the whole thing I say about the things about prostitutes and like everything I've said about the old people and the young people and the sexing and there's so many things wrong with all the meaningful stuff and the stuff about life, like stuff you see in movies, and he just sort of like really tiptoes across about it, like, oh look, this is like what happens in life. Oh look, this is all fine. This is, and it's like, no, you moron, what's wrong with you? And then obviously there's a scene where these prostitutes are talking to him, and most of the characters in the movie are prostitutes, and that just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, oh, this is great. Show women as prostitutes. Oh, and there's a scene where they're given like a drink, right? One's given a drink, a really big fat one was like, oh, that's a stereotype, but let's just go there. And so then she's dangling upside down and trying to drink her drink, but apparently it's a joke because then she spills the drink on the floor and she spills it all over her face. Oh wow! And I'm just telling you, this is not a good movie, and I can't respect it. That's the difference with the Michael Cera films, those recent ones I didn't like. I can actually respect those. This, no, I cannot respect this on any level. I'm sorry. Like if you enjoyed it, fine, but I would kind of get a bit like, okay, well, we have to talk about this because like, what did they enjoy about it? Because it's just a terrible movie. I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything about the situation, but I've sat through this whole thing and it's just god awful. It's not funny. And I hate to say when I watch a comedy that it's bad. Because I love comedies. I think there are a lot of great comedies. But god, this is just I think probably one of the worst ones ever. I mean, there's no storyline. Well, it tries to make a storyline, and I think there's one bit they're trying to reference some kind of rapper guy with a gun stuff that he doesn't really get on with, and but who cares? I mean, it's the movie of oh, who cares? They might as well have written it as the movie. No one cares about it, and just sort of made up some stuff and changed the dialogue. Oh, no one cares! Oh, no one cares! Because watching this movie, I didn't care at all. And the characters are really bad. Andy Samberg, what was he doing in this movie? I mean, unless he thought, oh, it's great, I'll work with Adam Sandler. Oh, it's great. Oh, no. No, 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 no. I mean, I don't know. But I think probably perhaps, it's probably perhaps because, he was on Saturday Night Live. That he obviously wanted to have this duo thing and bounce off each other with Adam Sandler. And I can understand that he wanted to do that, but as a movie, oh, it's just terrible. And I don't know. It's that thing where what's the point? Like you see a movie, you think, I just have to say, there's nothing with merit in this film other than it stops. It comes to an end, and that's it. And what I really don't like is they do this whole thing about, that he's a father and he don't give a shit about his boy. And then there's a bit near the end where they have a night out, bachelor party, and they try to make things like meet and come together and everything's okay. And it's not really. I mean, he's a dick of a father, like he had his son when he was like 13, and then Susan Sarandon comes up at the end because she was given 30 years in prison, so obviously now she's like 55 or 60 or something. But I just, I don't understand how you can do this whole thing of, oh, it's fine being a father. Oh, just treat them like crap. Oh, it's just no. And this movie does that so well. It's like, oh, let's just show a really bad depiction of the father. Let's just do something like that. And I mean, there's so many instances which are just so bad. Like there's this one bit where he's talking to this old lady. He's like, oh, because he's my best friend. Because they make this whole thing about he's his best friend, and Sandberg's actually not his father because he actually declared his parents died in an explosion. And anyway, so he's like, oh, but see, because he's my best friend, and you're my breast friend. And I was quite shocked by that. I was just like, wow, it's just why? I don't even understand the logic of this whole thing. About there's the father and there's the this and like I just why? Why no one would care? You just like cut him off completely, and if that had happened, the movie would have been great. Ended really early, about 30 minutes in, and oh, why didn't it do that? That'd been great.